America's immigration system just got hit with a legal earthquake. A historic Supreme Court ruling is now officially in effect. Sweeping USCIS fee changes are about to hit, and a wave of federal court victories is protecting immigrant rights. This is not business as usual. This is a reset moment. And as of September 2025, the ground under immigration has already shifted. We'll go step by step. First, the Supreme Court bombshell now active, then USCIS fees rolling out next month, then the NVC fix, and finally the court battles protecting immigrant families. The Supreme Court drops a bombshell. The Supreme Court's 5-4 ruling is now live. It has already changed the balance of power in immigration forever. The message is simple. Immigration is federal only. For decades, states like Texas, Arizona, and Florida pushed their own hardline laws. Local police arresting undocumented immigrants. State jails holding people past release dates. Businesses punished for hiring workers without papers. Supporters called it safety. Opponents called it racial profiling and chaos. The court has now slammed the door shut. States can no longer act independently. Immigration enforcement belongs solely to Washington. And here's the important part. We're not just talking about future laws. Thousands of past cases may now be reopened. I'll explain that next. What's already changing in September 2025? Here's what's already happening since the ruling took effect. State laws repealed. Conflicting immigration laws in Texas, Arizona, Florida, and beyond are suspended. A police power reduced. Local officers can't detain you just for status anymore. Detention rules changed. Local jails can't hold immigrants without a federal warrant. Deportation cases reopened. Thousands of cases built on state arrests are being reviewed and may be dismissed. Businesses impacted. Employers in states with mandatory hiring checks must now follow federal standards only. This is one of the biggest shifts in decades. Immigrants in strict enforcement states now have new protection. Federal government takes control. Local fear begins to ease. But what does that mean if you're undocumented on DACA or living in a mixed-status family? Let's get into that. What it means for immigrants. If you're undocumented, this is real. Local police can't target you just for immigration status anymore. Families in Texas, Arizona, and Florida are already seeing the difference. The fear of state-driven raids? Reduced. For DACA recipients, it's an indirect win too. States can't interfere with federal executive orders. Immigration lawyers will now focus on federal agencies only, instead of fighting 50 different state battles. But don't be fooled. This isn't the end of the fight. It's a reset. And with the 2026 election approaching, this ruling will fuel new political wars. For now, though, it's a major win for immigrant rights. And while the courts rewrite enforcement, USCIS is rewriting how you even pay for your applications. Let's move to that. USCIS fee shakeup, October 2025. Now, let's look ahead to what's coming next month. Starting October 2025, paper checks? Gone. Instead, 2 new payment forms are mandatory. Form G, 1450, pay by credit card. Form G, 1650, pay by debit card. No form, no filing. You must attach the payment authorization with your application. USCIS will charge your account and send a receipt. Tip: if you're planning to file after October, prepare now. Have a valid debit or credit card ready. Paper checks are officially history. Some will see this as modernization. Others see it as one more burden for low-income applicants without easy banking access. Either way, the change is real, and you must adjust. And while USCIS is tightening its payment process, the National Visa Center is finally fixing one of its biggest headaches. National Visa Center Fix. For years, the DS-260 immigrant visa form was a nightmare. It froze. It crashed. It kicked people out after an hour. Applicants lost hours of work, sometimes entire cases. Now, the American Immigration Lawyers Association confirms the government has fixed it. Advice: print the form first. Then transfer answers online. This avoids mistakes and protects your progress. A small fix, but a big relief for families waiting on consular processing. And speaking of relief, let's turn to the federal courts, where immigrant rights are being protected in dramatic ways. Fifth Circuit rejects Alien Enemies Act deportations. The administration tried to use the 1798 Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans without hearings. The Fifth Circuit said no. Quote, "There is no war. The act does not apply." Translation? Thousands of Venezuelans are safe from removals under this outdated law. The courts are keeping executive overreach in check. But this isn't the only courtroom win. The next case is even more emotional. Guatemalan children protected. A plane carrying Guatemalan children was set for deportation. Without parents, without hearings, the court intervened. Children taken off the plane, given the right to due process under the Juvenile Act. That means they get their day in court. And many may now qualify for legal protections or even green cards. It's a powerful reminder, even the most vulnerable must be heard. And while children are being defended in court, judges are also stopping military deployments inside U.S. cities. Ninth Circuit blocks military deployments. The administration attempted to deploy the National Guard and Marines into U.S. cities like Los Angeles, Detroit, and Chicago. The court shut it down, ruling unlawful and unnecessary. Peaceful protests don't justify military enforcement. This ruling protects civil liberties and reigns in executive power. So now, let's step back and look at the big picture. Why these updates matter. Put all of this together and you see a clear trend. The Supreme Court ruling is already reshaping immigration under federal control. USCIS fee changes are coming in October and demand preparation. NVC fixes are easing delays for consular applicants. Court victories are protecting Venezuelans, Guatemalan children, and even American cities from overreach. Each ruling and policy change connects to the same theme, a system under stress, but with courts stepping in to defend rights and draw boundaries. And now we get to the part that matters most, what all of this means for you. Final thoughts. Immigration in America is at a turning point. The rules are shifting. The courts are stepping in. And USCIS is rewriting its systems. For immigrants, the message is twofold. You have stronger protections in some areas, but you must stay vigilant as policies change. Families, workers, and communities are directly impacted. And with elections around the corner, nothing is guaranteed. For now, though, immigrants can take a deep breath. Federal law is the standard. Courts are defending rights. And the fight continues into 2026. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.